Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is in episode 181. In today's episode, we are going to continue of talking of the frequencies and energies, or what happens when we are so-called reaching to the higher energies. We've been through on a very first episode the lower frequencies that often happen to us, then in the middle, in a meaning of now we are moving towards something better, and what happens when we are in a higher frequency state, and what is connected here with twin flames. I know that it's difficult to see that when I talk about the frequencies and energies, that this is real, but it's the same way as you are listening to the radio, you are turning into the frequency to hear it. It doesn't just appear out of nowhere. There are always frequencies and energies around us, and so are they with you. And actually, another day I was thinking of this, that I don't know if you ever had that phenomenon in your life, but maybe you had it. When there is a nothing in your life, there is nothing. If there is no job in your life, you can apply, and nothing is happening. And then all of a sudden, something shifted inside of you, and now you have 3 opportunities, and you have to choose which one you're gonna do. Same is with love. You can be years single, no one is interested, you are putting the energy out there, you're trying to, nothing is happening. And then all of a sudden, one person becomes interested, and you see others also. Or a very simple example is, I don't know if you never ever noticed that, but that's what me and my friends, we always laugh about it. You go to the restaurant, let's say the restaurant or the cafe is completely empty, there is no one. And the minute you sit in, you take your drink or your food, all of a sudden the cafe is becoming full and full and full, and more people are coming, and you wonder, when I came here, there was no one, and now it's full. Energy attracts energy. Where there is an emptiness, there's empty. We have this saying about everything that where there already is, there comes more. Always like that. If you have already something, you're going to have more and more, because you attract what you are. And now you'll be wondering, okay, what's with that? Well, in your life of becoming your higher self, that is actually the math we need to understand. That your energy is what's going to direct the outcome. And your thoughts, your body, everything is connected. I have been very, very blessed of giving all of the help, in that sense, the gurus, the teachers, the information that has arrived to me has helped me tremendously. And that's why I love sharing it, because I believe that helps you too. But on the other hand, I was just another day, I had myself a Kundalini activation, and I remember I had a massive back pain, because I get very little sleep these days. And I had a very bad back pain on that day. And I am a believer that we can heal ourselves. We just need to give attention to our body. And so I had the activation. It was very powerful. And then after that, I let my body to relax. I let my body to take the energy, because the integration is a very important part. And then what was so interesting that started to happen, and I didn't even notice that in the previously, because I always do that, but in some reasons this time it stood out for me. I was like sparked with creativity. I was sparked with knowing. I was sparked with what's coming next. Everything was interesting for me again. And I realized, I must have been energetically in a certain way of stuck. And now I shifted it. And there is always, we are going to and change, but it is based on the energy. And so today we're going to go and dive into the information of neutrality. So you remember the last time, those of you who haven't listened to the previous episode, we talked about the courage. And now we are moving towards the neutrality. And this is something I hear a lot on Twin Flame Journeys, and I've spoken about this before as well, but as we are on the scale, I'm going to go through that. The neutrality is on a scale of 250. And often when we are on that scale, that's where now things get a little bit tricky. And why they are getting tricky is that we think that I feel neutral towards that person, so it might not have been a twin flame. And there is this new wave I have seen recently, that people who identified themselves as a twin flame and said, my twin flame is everything, I'm going to be with my twin flame, and now they have found somebody else in their life, and they're starting to identify this new person with their twin flame, saying, oh, this is my twin flame because we are in a relationship. And no matter how many times I try to repeat that twin flames are not a relationship, it doesn't mean you cannot have the relationship. But the first foundation idea is not of that. That's why it is a very strange phenomenon, what we are going through as an awakening, because you are feeling this energy that you never felt. So now we take another person and we put this label to the next person that is saying, oh, I was really wrong about the first person. Now I know I have met my twin flame. Doesn't matter in that sense. And I know when you are in this stage, you're trying to figure it out. I tried to figure this out as well. It was so important for me. It was such an important part because of my ego needed to validate this. But now when you're coming to the frequency of 250, the neutrality, because it gets often misunderstood, like I said, you will not feel that it's not no longer the energy I don't care. And it's not the flat emptiness of giving up, which I spoke about, the gray area where we are like in this wonderful apathy where we don't want to know about it, where we feel so empty. Neutrality now arrives after the courage when you first feel that you can rest and you can actually breathe. And this is a very powerful one. For me, and this is why I know that when I share these things and when you haven't experienced it, it's difficult to relate to me. And I'm okay with that. I'll just share this because one day it will relate. And that's okay. If it doesn't relate today, one day it will. And I share this of knowing that it's all right where you're going to go with this journey. So, meaning of that the neutrality is where you can finally rest and you haven't had it for years. And you can hold without being consumed by this energy. So meaning of, I can love this person genuinely, deeply I can love them. But I also don't need anything specific from them in order to feel okay or happy or connected. And when I felt the neutrality, I've spoken about that, that was after the retreat. And my twin popped forward after a silence and wrote to me that I felt this was happened to me, and we had a long conversation. And it was so strange to me that I felt I actually didn't need this conversation. It doesn't change anything. I knew all of that all the time. And then I was sitting there thinking, but why I was panicking before then? Why it mattered to me so much to know what he felt, what happened, what was there. Is it a twin flame? Is it not? Why all of this mattered to me? But then I realized it didn't matter for me. It mattered for my ego to say, yes, this is what's happening to you. This is what's there. This is what's going to happen. Because inside of me, I already knew. And when I had this very strong retreat and I went to the holotropic breathwork and I saw everything, I became neutral. And again, breathwork is one of the ways of shifting our frequency. It really is. It's very powerful. It's very transformative. And if you do all of these things together, it's incredible. So, I bring an example. Let's say you have been doing work for a year now. 1 year you have been doing a work. Shadow work, therapy, you're building your creative life, you're all of this. And then one afternoon you will realize that you haven't thought about him since morning. And then you realize, I'm not panicking about this. It doesn't, like I said, when I use the word, it doesn't matter, it sounds like I don't care about it. No, it's not about that. What I mean over here is that it's not that, now I need to have the answer. You do think about them with a heart, with a real love. But then you go back to what you're doing and who you are. And those of you who are listening and you are in an obsessive thought process at this moment, you are obsessing over them and you don't understand, why am I obsessing so much over and over and over again? If you are looking for the change, I really say it's time to step into a frequency shift. Number one, we're going to identify what are the thoughts. I said that, I think, in my very first podcast, that somehow what I do is like the worst, if some people want to call it business, let's say, business ideas, because of my idea is that I give you the powers to figure this all out. You have all of the powers. You just need to remember them again. It's like, I would always say that soul work is somehow like riding a bicycle. Once you learn to ride the bicycle, you'll always have the knowledge. You always know how to go on a bicycle. And your soul knows all of that. You just sometimes need to be remembered and given an option. And the given an option is in a connection within you. So just to say, the obsessive thinking is extremely hard. Don't let yourself to be consumed by everything else. Admit or go into the place, I cannot get this person out of my head. The energy is too strong. All right, how am I gonna now shift that energetically? It sounds very, I don't know even know how it sounds, you make a judgment, but when I say to you that if you're gonna block them or remove them or say that, oh, this is not real, go away, I don't want to talk to you, you have chosen somebody else, don't come here. The truth is that this doesn't work. Energy doesn't care about the 3D ways of why we do things. It just simply doesn't care. So here we are at the 250 frequency. And on Twin Flame Journey, as I said, 250 is a dynamic where you start to see the visible shift. This is now you are in the sense of realizing something is shifting. So because you have stopped broadcasting the need, the energy of need, and you started to send out the energetic signal, a meaning of you starting to, you're starting to send the signal out there that I am all right without you. I'm okay, however it is. And now the other person notices, as I said, about the cafe before and all of the things. The moment you let go of why it is not happening, what is there, what am I supposed to do more, you let the energy to flow. And all it takes is one shift. Like I said, one person in a cafeteria can bring the cafeteria full of people. So you need only one shift. And this is not a manipulation. That's why I say it doesn't work. I did that, and I would say somehow, I don't know if I regret it. That's difficult to say. But I just felt I was so desperate. I would have done anything on that time and that moment. But this removing and taking this, it just didn't work. So this is a genuine shift. And that changes everything what you're transmitting, all of the energy that you're transmitting. But this is a very important one, because here now we can stay Plato. We can stay still. We can just stay where we are at and not moving forward. And that's something, as we feel now, it's okay. It's all good. I feel good. I feel very well. Although I think you have heard me saying millions of times, when your soul has a plan, the soul is going to continue to take you there. And the next step is willingness, is 310. So it's the level 310. From 250, you go to the 310. And here is, I'm a little bit, after reading it and putting it together, I go a little bit against that is an information out there. And maybe for the reason, because of twin flame connection is based on the Kundalini. Because Kundalini puts you on a path. And there you kind of don't have any more the willingness to choose. You do have a choice, but at the same time you don't. A paradox over here. Meaning of, you would think, oh, I'm okay here. I stay here. But then the life starts to throw things at you of saying, you're not listening. You need to go and do this now. You need to go do that. You need to go going deeper. Even when you don't have to. But it's kind of the next step. And this is a very strange one, because that's what happened to me. Because when I arrived to this amazing place and I felt so connected and I was like, wow, finally my twin admitted everything and I felt so good. Then what happened? For a full month of March, a soul was waking me up and at 2 a.m. and saying to me, you need to start the podcast. And I said, no, why? Why I have to start the podcast? Who am I to say to someone how to live? What is the truth? What is this? Why I have to share this? And my soul was, I don't care. It's not about you. If you have ever listened to the very first episode where I say, well, I do this one and let's see what's going to come from it. Well, here we are. And this is going on with me over and over and over again. The moment I get so-called comfortable, I feel it's all right. You know, I'm going on my face. The soul will wake me up and say, wait a minute. What did you say? Let me show you. That's why I also say why Kundalini is very dangerous, because it puts you on a path, in that sense, actively, and somehow you think you're choosing, but at the same time you're not. You become a vessel. And it's so strange, all of that. And when I talk about it, I know if you're not here today, you would be like, that doesn't make any sense. This woman is an absolute crazy. And I am. I take that. I am. But I share this because to understand that this will continue. The journey will continue. So the level 310, willingness. Now we are here. And willingness will feel like I'm going to show up fully for my own life, for my own growth, and for my own becoming, regardless of the outcome. What did I tell you about the podcast? I always said this podcast has no, like when people will come to me and say, how many followers do you have? How many this? What's happening? What's going on? And I say, I have no plan here. Don't ask. I don't know. This is not a project. This is something else. And what's very interesting, I've noticed as a shift, everything that I do in my life, I have no outcome. I don't have an Excel with me and saying I have that many this, that's what's happening. It's more about I trust the energy. And the energy is an outcome. And it's the same for many of you who are listening. You're looking for your purpose. You're looking for what to do next. Just show up. Just become. And we talk about becoming a higher self. Just do that. Regardless of the outcome. Every single dot will connect. Learn. invest into energy. That's just my best life is in that sense. I go as much as I can into places. Now this 1 year I haven't been able to be on a retreat on my own because of our little spiritual baby, and I'm like, okay, as soon as I can, I will go. There is a big yoga festival, a European yoga festival coming in August, where I saw that we can go with children. Why? Because of connecting from the place of energy on your own is priceless. No one can take away what you have inside. No one. And when we live in this world of AI, when we live in this world of most probably in the simulation, and I'll talk about some simulation theories in the podcast if you're interested, of course. There's nothing more powerful than you being connected to yourself. But how do you get there is through practice. I'm really sorry to say that, and more information will not get you into union. It will not. And like I said, you're going to do the job or you're going to do something because of you don't have an idea of the outcome. You're going to do the work not because you believe that it will bring something back to you. You do the work because you feel it and you commit to it, becoming the person you're capable of being. And this is a very important part. Those of you who are looking the purpose, you are in the stage of looking at purpose. Commit to it, regardless of how much you're going to get money or how many people will come back to you. None of this matters. Because the project is you. On another day I had a call with one of you and I spoke about it, that when we are on the retreats or workshops, how every one of you is me. And I always reflect, are they reflecting my past thoughts? Are they showing me something in the so-called future I need to dive deeper in? There's always I don't know how to, just try to close your eyes and you imagine the kaleidoscope? Yes? And so when you look into kaleidoscope, you see the many forms over there. And so I would think of every one of you like me. So you are reflecting to me all the time. That's why I love when you share your stories, you share in the comments what has happened to you, even if it's the opposite or things like that. I love it. Because you show a different, if you think of the kaleidoscope, you show a different angle, different shadows, different things that I might not be able to see it all the time. And why I talk about it, when you do something just because you do it. This is the frequency of action without agenda. And this is very rare. And it's very powerful. And I'm not saying that it's powerful because now things will start to happen to you. No, it's powerful because it gives you freedom. It gives you freedom to be you. And this is the highest price. And that's what we talk about, the becoming a higher self. Freedom of being you, authentically you. Because most of the work that we do at the lower levels is agenda driven. I don't know if I want to share this here, but maybe some of you would like to start a business or been thinking of starting a business. And I've been my whole life in entrepreneur world and the investor world, entrepreneur world. So I've seen quite a lot, for even though I might be quite some young. So if any of you would like me to touch upon these parts of it, where I talk about it, how again in this world energy really matters, let me know. I'm more than happy to share. So like I say, we meditate that so our frequency rises. So that we can feel, so they will come back. We journal so that we clear the blocks, so that the universe clears the path, so the reunion happens. That was before. And that's why I say, There is nothing wrong when you come to the channeling or you come to the Kundalini activation and you would like to know what your twin is doing. Nothing wrong over there. Absolutely nothing. But doing the Kundalini activation, but here is a paradox. I like bringing this paradox in it. Because without your twin activating you, without that enormous pain that you're going through today, without that feeling completely lost, you would have never stepped into the power of becoming your higher self, going into deeper meditations, discovering Kundalini, discovering that you are very powerful on your own. And I've seen this in our workshops. We all arrive with the baggage when my twin flame will come back and how they will come back. But those who've been practicing now quite some time, and you can see this, many have shared after the workshops. I've tried to put them on Instagram here and there, and they start talking about themselves. They see, oh my God, the magic is happening to me. This is happening to me. And they go more and more about themselves. And like I said, I secretly drive you. And you will not disappear and disappoint in this life. So as I said, in the beginning, we can start meditating and we can start going deeper because we feel, I want my twin flame back. And everybody says, go deeper and meditate and my twin will return. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go there because there I find some peace and there I feel some connection. As I said on my last episode, there is nothing more beautiful and powerful than to be awakened by the love of your twin flame, feeling how your heart opens, how the time and space disappears, and you feel one with the universe. Nothing more beautiful. This is a gift of a lifetime. And then, of course, the pain comes and we come into this world now. I'll do the activation because my twin will return. And that's okay. In the beginning, you do that. And that's how we start. But then step by step, you come closer to your soul, to your knowledge. And that is a magic. That is a real, real magic. And I'm not here to tell you this, to tell you that you can't be with your twin. No, not at all. You can be getting married to your twin. You can get, everything is possible. But you want to feel what I'm talking about. You want to feel that. Because at the 310 frequency, this willingness, you do the work because the work is the point. Meaning of the becoming is the point. The life you are building is the point. Meaning of you are present. You are the point. You, the project, you. So let's just take another example over here. Let's say your twin, 6 months is past the last contact with you. And he has also been doing the inner work. And something has changed. And then he spends time doing a project that has been there. And not because of this distraction, because actually it really mattered. The project really mattered. And now he's interested in his own life again. The connection is still there. The love is still there. But it's no longer collapsing into everything else. And that is willingness. The person who is ready to see themselves real again. And same for your twin, same for you. So if you see that your twin has stepped into something something is changing, they are feeling your frequency, but it starts from you. And there is one thing that I want to just talk about a little bit more about willingness is in the context of spiritual awakening or the connection over there. Willingness is when your spiritual practice is not about getting out of something, and it is your daily life. You meditate not to manifest. You journal not to clear your blocks. And you do the shadow work or anything you're looking, not because of the union. And you do this all because you are genuinely, unconditionally committed to your own becoming. And that is a very, very shift. You do this because it matters to you. Not what everybody else says. It's for you. And remember, you are the universe. So now we move a little bit higher and there comes an acceptance. So acceptance is a very powerful one. It's at the 350 and it's an acceptance. So what is an acceptance? I'm going to spend most of the time today on the acceptance because acceptance is also very much misunderstood on the path over here and somehow in the spiritual world as well. Because on a twin flame journey, the real acceptance is both the hardest thing and the most transformative thing. And let me just walk you through a little bit what is an acceptance, especially on this journey, because we sometimes have a misunderstand certain things. So acceptance is not, I have decided it's fine that it happened. I'm fine how it was. It doesn't matter. Yes, whatever. I'm fine with that. Or acceptance is not, I'm over it. I don't care. Acceptance is not, I have let go. I've let go of them. It doesn't matter to me. Acceptance is not really much about a performance. And that's why the letting go and surrendering this is why this frequency is very tricky. Because when I say I have let go of that, I still actually hold on to this. The letting go and surrendering is feeling free. And that's why I spoke about the previous thing. You do the things. The willingness is like a practice for you to learn to become free. And that's why this stage is there. Because the real acceptance is not something we make it up in our own head. It's not from the headspace. It's something that happens in your body. And that again brings me back to the same thing I repeat over and over again. You are your mind, body, and soul. And they are all interconnected. And there is, of course, when we go to the cellular level, nervous system, all of this matters. So when we work on our body, that's what, when you come to the retreats or the workshops, we often begin with the body. Because the body is the first thing I'm going to connect to. You might be on the answer, why? Because your body tells me immediately where the blocks are. I see it. I'm like, all right, that's okay. We can all put the show up there. My body will also show you where there is. If you read the energies, if you see it. All of this is there. And when we start, and my approach to this is, all right, we're going to let go of the body. Because many people arrive to the retreats with an idea. And I want to read that I want my twin plaque, or I want the answers from there. But actually what happens on them is so much more powerful. And another day, a beautiful soul who was with us in Bali wrote to me something very nice. And I wanted to share this also on social media. I read that part. Not because I wanted to quit, not because I wasn't grateful, but somewhere deep down, I felt like there is still another version of me waiting for me to emerge. The strange part was, I had absolutely no idea what that looked like. Around that same time, I committed to going to the women's retreat in Bali with us. Logically, it didn't make much sense. I didn't really know how I was going to step away from work for that long to justify the expense. I just knew I needed to go. And honestly, that has now become a pattern in my life. I don't know always the destination, but I know when something is calling me forward. Bali changed me in ways I didn't expect. Yes, it was beautiful and spiritual, emotional, But one of the biggest thing it gave me was a connection with other women. After my divorce, I realized I had just been years feeling disconnected, not just from others, but in some ways from myself. So that's why I say we might arrive to Bali, or we were in a Bali retreat, or any retreats that are out there, and we think we're going there with a certain reason. I remember when I went to my retreat, I was so empty, and that I said, if I don't go there, I'm not going to survive. So I have to go there. And my answers were there, which I didn't know that I needed. So this is why I say that it doesn't make sense. And it's not from the mind. So the acceptance. And often we have this also about the money. We live in a world where money is part of it, and we can go into the, and of course, economically, everything. But one thing I can tell you, the experiences you will never forget when you connect to your soul, to your heart. You might forget the dress you wore, or the jeans you're wearing, or let's say the bar party you have. You might forget these, but you will not forget when you connect to your soul. You'll not forget that. And I also believe that retreats and all of the workshops shouldn't be extremely expensive. Like I don't think that they should be only accessible, but at the same time, things cost. So I always try to find a really good medium that there are, let's say, install payments or things like this, that because of, like I say, when it feels like some of us who have more money can accept access to it, I don't find this is real. That's why, as I said, I've done a lot of free work. I've done a lot of things to help in a way of, but again, I don't want to give from the lack. That meaning of I'm completely empty and I keep giving. Anyhow, let's go from here now. So let me give you some of the very, and I said that when it's in your body, and the example, you know it when it arrives because everything in your life changes. The situation changes. Not the situation itself, but situation changes. You see a different outcome. And let me give you the most honest example I can give. Let's say you have loved him for 3 years. It's a real love. The kind that changed you, who you are. Your twin flame love changed who you are. And now it's been a complete silence, let's say the last year or 2. No answers, or maybe even 3 years. And you have done everything. You've done the shadow work, the therapy, the meditation, the surrender practices. And some days you felt closer to the acceptance, and some days you haven't felt it. And then on just a random day, random Friday, let's say, just a random Friday, you're sitting in your home or in your car or by the beach or on a bench, and you think about your twin, and something is very, very different. Not that the love is gone, not that the loss doesn't hurt, but the heaviness is gone. The heaviness is not there anymore. And it feels like you've been carrying this burden on your shoulders for 3 years, and now it's smaller. It's not so heavy anymore. And now you got stronger, and that the weight is no longer that holds you down there. And you can walk freely. And this is acceptance. You can walk freely. And here is what I believe about acceptance in Twin Flame Journey specifically, is that I believe that the real acceptance, the kind that lives in our body, not just in the mind, like I said, in the body, is an energetic shift that the Divine Masculine most deeply resonates with or responds to it. So here is where you're going to see the shift. And not because you are pulling away the love and you're saying, I don't need them. It's just because the first time your love is not about demand. It's not about I want something. It has to be this way. It has to be there. So it is just, I love you unconditionally, without any agenda, without needing it to look it in a certain ways or particular ways that how it has to be. You just love. I just love you, no matter what. And when I shared this was a big freedom for me. I learned to love without borders, meaning of, I can love you even if you don't love me. I can look at you and love you, and I can just love you if you don't love me. And it's a very strange, and at the same time, I can love you if you walk away. That's all good. So now how are we going to practice to build a real acceptance? What is the real acceptance and how are we going to practice this part of it? So number one is to stop arguing what it is, even with your own mind. Every time you think this shouldn't be this way or this isn't fair, why is it taking so long, what is happening, notice it. Notice about that, because again, this is the frequency you are emitting, you're giving out. And make a frequency chart, you can have a look. Not to suppress it, but to see for it what it is. A resistance to the reality. And ask, what would it feel like to just let it be true for 1 minute? 1 minute. 1 minute. Let's put 60 seconds. There is something I very strongly, I've noticed that we are very good at, let's say, 1 hour of scrolling or this and that goes so quickly. It's like, wow, my God, where did the time go? But 1 minute or 2 minutes in silence feels so long. But learn the silence. It's a connection. Number 2 would be replace, why is this not happening to me? Or why is this for? Not as a spiritual performance. Let it be when it comes. It always comes from a higher self, and it always makes sense. So, what is this for? What is this for? Why is this happening to me? With what is this for? What am I learning for? And number 3 would be to forgive. Forgiveness is a very powerful one, and I know many of you don't want to hear me talking about forgiveness. But I don't mean that you forgive for them. I mean you forgive for yourself, for your own freedom. Because unforgiveness is you carrying them with everywhere you go. Let it go with the forgiveness. And I know it's hard for the ego. Another day I had a very beautiful soul, very close to me. And there's so much anger and disappointment. And now the bones cannot handle this anymore. And I looked at this person and I said, if you really love yourself, if you really, really love yourself, forgive. Let go of that anger and disappointment your body cannot carry, your bones cannot carry this anymore. Let go. And I want to say one more thing about the acceptance. When you arrive here, when acceptance becomes part of your life rather than a goal, something changes the way people experience you. And not just your twin, everyone around you will change and shift, everyone. Because you stop needing anything from anyone to feel okay. And people, all the people, are magnetized by that kind of groundedness. Everybody loves that. Everybody. And this is the alchemy you need to master. Again, not you need, I use the word need, but actually this is the alchemy. This is the math. So just remember, if you're listening to this podcast, this was your reminder that this is my answer. Becoming your higher self. And you know, sometimes you look around and you'll be thinking, oh, why these people have this, or why do they have that, and why do they get this, and why are this and that? But then stop for a moment and not looking, but maybe there is something within you that you are holding back and this person is triggering for you to become. And now we have last two left. let me talk about the last two. 400 frequency is a reason. And here is where things will get very interesting, because reason, clarity, intelligence, the capacity to think clearly and see pattern sits below love on the scale. So love is the next one. And that might be very much surprising people, because when I was reading also and I was going through and putting this podcast episode together by analyzing many charts and looking this, and I was like, well, that's very interesting. Because of when we have been building the identity around smart, analytical, self-aware one, I like to analyze things. That's what I do. I read books, I analyze. You should see my journals. You should say, who is this crazy woman? And I still, in a way, even though AI is there and I use it for fixing my grammar and things like that, I try to stay away from it. Because I like that spark inside of me that tells me something that I don't know. But of course, I have this analytical side of me. So then when we become too intellectual, it becomes a prison. Because we're looking for a reason for everything. And I remember when that hit me, when I was looking for every single answer for everything, meaning of we can understand the twin flame journey completely. Like I talked today about the frequency, the psychology, the attachment, everything we understand, the Kundalini activations, we understand everything. But you'll still not be able to feel your way into love. And understanding is not the same as embodying it and living in this world. I wrote another day on Threads as well. We live in the world of information. The AI can say to you this and that and everything, just like a vomit, tells you whatever you want. But the information is not going to be the one that's going to embody. And now we need to connect to the information, to the embodiment. And I bring you an example. Let's say you have now read every single book. You can explain the runner-chaser dynamic as you this, runner is this, chaser is that, this is what action. You know your attachment styles, you know your wounds, you know your patterns, you understand everything. But you still haven't forgiven him. You still can't see them through the eyes of love. You understand why you should. But it has not yet landed in your body. You understand it, but it's not complete. You haven't felt the feeling, you haven't felt the frequency yet. And that is okay. That is absolutely okay. That was one of the reasons when I realized, because like I said, I am obsessed with information. But at one point I realized, and I still love reading, I still love information, I love when people send me things and everything. One thing I don't love is the social media, this random tells you that your twin flame is your ultimate love and that's it, and don't ever pursue anything else, and keeps you in another prison. And then I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna get into that. Why I talk about this is because, and why the workshops, and because in the beginning we were talking, a lot of talking, a lot of sharing. But only way we're gonna have this is through energy, and that's I know myself. I've always said that I know myself who I am. So every time I'm fluctuating away from somewhere, I'm like, somebody needs an activation. Someone needs a deeper meditation. You need to do a stronger Kriya today, because the mind is playing games with you. You are consuming in there. Here we go. So, as I said, that is a 400. The mind has now arrived where everything you know. So on this podcast right now, I'm explaining to you. I'm literally explaining what are the frequencies. But what is the point of explanation if we don't practice it? It's the same thing with everything, with every single thing. And I tell you a little secret here. If you practice anything that is helping you to connect to your higher self, whether it's breath work, yoga, Kundalini activation, Reiki, deep meditation, DMT. If you want to do ayahuasca, if you want to do mushrooms, go ahead. It's just for me, it's again, we depend on something else. And it's, I read the book about It's You or Becoming You. I gave it to one of our retreat. He was visiting me here in Cyprus and I gave it to him. I bring it to the Italian retreat. Very easy to read there. But I like simple truths. I really do like simple truths. That we can take all of that and it can be very transformative, but it's we forget to climb the mountain. That's why every one of you, I am so proud of you, that while the Twin Flame journey is a freaking mad case, you've decided, I'm going to connect to it. I am going to go to the next level from here. Step by step. I'm honest with myself. I know where I'm at. And I'm not giving up. Seeing what we are on the weekends when we are around 80, sometimes 100 people, different groups together. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, I am so proud of every one of you. Seeing the shift and change. And it's somehow very simple. It just requires your attention. So just look at where you're putting your attention, especially in the world we are living in. Because soon everything you might be consuming can be complete fake. But I tell you how you know that things are not fake. From your heart. And that is a power. That's why you also know that Twin Flame journey is not a fake. It's not a fake love. It's not today I love you, tomorrow I don't. It's a real love. And the love is the answer. Love is the answer. So the move from 400 to 500, reason to love, is not intellectual and it never will be. It will never be, and whether you like me or you don't like me, or whether you agree or disagree, whether you block, remove, you do, congratulations. Real love will hit you when you never know when it's gonna hit you. And the real love, it is a surrender. Your mind has to be willing to not to understand it. And I've said that from the very day one. No matter how many books you're going to read, no matter how much you write it down, no matter what you're going to do, you will not make sense of it. And there is no point of that. You don't need to know the why. You don't need to have the map before you're going to take a new step. It is the moment when you stop asking, but why did this happen? And you're just going to simply feel the love that was always underneath that question. It's in you. And that's why when people are asking me, how can I be in this? I spoke about this in the last episode. I said, it wasn't something I chose with my mind. It wasn't that I woke up one day and I said, I'm going to meet my twin flame. This is the ultimate love. My life is a mess. I'm going to meet my twin flame. When that happened, it was a shock. It was a body shock. It was a mind shock. It was everything. And I never felt something so strange. But it felt so divine. Never ever happened in my life before. Maybe in the previous. And it didn't make sense to the mind. My analytical mind couldn't make sense of it. And now when I read back on my journals, and I channeled quite a lot of there, I see, oh my God, I was extremely intelligent, like my soul was extremely intelligent, telling me the truth. But my mind was blocking it. My mind said, oh, no, that can't be real. How is that real? And now we are level 500 and love. Welcome if you arrived here. I'm so happy to be here with you and feel the bliss and feel the love and feel the connection. And it's not a romantic love. I'm not talking about the relationship love. It's not a love that you need something back. It's not the love that is really desires of wearing love's clothing. The love of 500 is unconditional. And it does not depend on the behavior. And doesn't need anything. It absolutely doesn't need anything. It's just simply state of being. Not a feeling about someone. And here is somehow I really invite you just to practice a little bit. Look at today when you're walking around. Try to look everything through the eyes of love for the next 24 hours. Everything through the eyes of love. Even the things that completely trigger you. Let's say someone, the way they drive the car. Or let's say try not to consume news. Please, try not to consume it. You have no idea what kind of agenda goes behind that to tell you that the world is going to fall apart tomorrow. Don't consume it. Follow the heart, the diamond inside of you. So see everything through the heart. Don't listen to the news. Don't spend time so much on social media. And when you see the feather on the floor today, smile and say, thank you, my love. When you see 111 or when you see 222, say, I'm here. I can hear you. I'm connected. When you see someone at the cashier today, you're buying something, say something nice to them. Smile to them. Don't forget to smile. If you see a child, make them happy. Just tell them something. When you see a dog, pat the dog and say, you're beautiful, I love you. Or your cat. Just see the little things. Maybe you pick an apple from the tree or a lemon, like I have a privilege to do, and say, oh, you smell so good. Love. Love is something no one can take from you. No one can take from you. Yes, your heart can be broken. Absolutely. But no one can take your love. And I really want to be honest about this level or this 500 frequency that we talk about here. Most of us touch this love energy sometimes. And that's why I invited you today to take 24 hours to see everything through the eyes of love. Even if you're listening to this podcast, give it the love. Leave a comment, heart, or share a quote that inspires you a love, or share something, channeled message inside of you. Share something. Because the lifelong work is the making 500 your baseline. The place you return to rather than the place you occasionally visit. And this is, and I'm not going to dive into today very, very strongly of that. But I just mentioned this, that when you are on this level of 500, you will think about your twin flame, whoever this journey is about for. And there is no need, no agenda, just love. And love is the wish that for the highest good, regardless whether the highest good includes you. And that is 500. And I'm going to say one more time the same sentence. Love that wishes for their highest good, regardless of whether the highest good includes you. And that's what the Bible teaches us. That's what everything. I know you are looking for the freedom. I know you are looking for expansion. But this is a true frequency. 500 is a true frequency, and twin flame connection can be only held in its true form. And not something you are waiting for, not something you are trying to make it up for. Two souls one soul, love each other, and are committed to their own becoming. And what happens externally from that internal reality, that is the hands of something larger than either of you. But this is the frequency that will, and so whatever is going to come is going to happen. And then we have the joy, peace and enlightenment. That is our final. From love to joy, peace and enlightenment. And it's not unhappiness. 540, and this is not unhappiness. The difference is that happiness is about something. Joy is simply this. It is as it is. It is love that has become your identity rather than your practice. You're not joyful because things are going well. You are just joyful. 600 is peace. 700 is enlightenment. 7 to 8,000. And enlightenment in between, I think 642 hertz is also twin flame frequency. I will share that on Patreon. You can listen to that frequency and see what happens to you. I will put the really small one on Instagram or here on YouTube. This is the frequency. And I really want to say something about these levels that I think matters. They're not only special for few people around here, those who are meditating for hours and doing all of that. No, I don't believe that. I believe that it's available for every one of you, and every one of you has to be a reflection for the next light. You remember I talked about the kaleidoscope? So we are all the kaleidoscope inside of it. So you reflecting to the next person and next person and next person. And we can go sometimes in our life back to the 125, 150. You can hold 350 frequency for a month and you find yourself back again in 100. That is not a failure. That is a spiritual nature of human growth. But once you have been to 350, once you have really genuinely touched acceptance, which I told you, you always know the way back. And that's why the way back gets always shorter each time. And I want to remind you that this connection didn't come to your life to give you union. It came to your life to show you the full range of who you are. To start from the lowest level, wherever level you were in, and start going up from there. The connection is not the destiny. The connection is the catalyst. You are the destination. You. And I want to really remind you that you don't have to be 500 today or all of this, whatever. This is just one step at a time. You just have to take a one level higher than you were yesterday, or the moment you woke up, or you listened to this podcast. One step, one going. One genuine shift can really shift your anything, and it's all about the small moves. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for bringing your love. Thank you for bringing your connection. Thank you for bringing you over here today. If it's your first time, I hope you enjoyed that and it maybe sparked something inside of you. If you have been here before, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope it brings you some sort of a peace and some sort of a knowledge. On the next episode, we are going to talk about my frequencies, how I have developed reading a people's energy, reading a people's frequency, and how can I tell where is their next step. If that's something you interest, of course, I'll see you here very, very soon. Twin Flame Journey, what happens to us? Patreon, you have the workshops that you can join if you've been thinking of. Italy retreat is happening, then it's the Cyprus retreat in November. In between, we're going to have a Lionsgate. The tickets will come on sale, and this year we're going to try to do something very incredible, and it can only happen when you are there. So Lionsgate is a manifestation portal which you don't want to miss, and you want to prepare your body to be in the highest frequency. twinflameawakeningjourney.com. Thank you so much. It's over here. If you wish to call, if you wish to take it to the next stage, you know, and then I'm here. Thank you so much. Lots of love and lots of light.
Like a crab that's molten from her shell. I crawl out uncomfortably, like a daughter who only wishes well. I've got your card in front of me. I'm the same girl, but I never fit back into my old skin. So we're back to the same old holiday, but it's gonna feel different. It's a hard bargain that you drive, and sometimes I think why make the trade